Summer Idyll turned nightmare. The rural Idyll beckoned me every summer. Away from the bustle of the city, I could enjoy simple pleasures, fishing with my grandfather, carefree games with my children, and old, but so cozy evening cartoons. At night, however, the peace was disturbed by horrible nightmares with the same sinister character. A decrepit old woman with sparse braids leaning on a thick stick, all in rags, haunted me from night to night. Her frightening appearance did not leave my mind, inspiring a primal terror. But with the dawn, the nightmares receded, allowing me to sink back into the serenity of summer village life. That summer, everything changed. The dreams were no longer a detached observation. I became a victim of them myself. Again and again I saw the same nightmare in real life. Moonlight streamed through the window, illuminating my tiny bed. Crickets chirped behind the walls. Suddenly, two bottomless holes appeared in the darkness. Her whitish eyes. The old woman stared at me from one window, then squeezed through the other, stretching out her knotted paws with braids of gray hair. Paralyzed with horror, I could neither scream nor move, only watch the approach of this night ghost. When I woke up in a cold sweat and looked around, I was relieved to realize that it was only a dream. But that night, everything was not happening according to the usual scenario. I realized that everything was happening unrealistically, but I was clearly in control of my actions. This time, when the knotted hands reached for me from the window, I didn't scream. I knew it was a dream, and I thought I would wake up as usual. But the old woman had a dead grip on my leg and was dragging me inexorably toward the exit of the house. I clung to the windowsill with all my might, screaming and calling for help from my family, but no one heard me. When my fingers unclenched, the creature's scream pierced my entire being and I lost consciousness. Through the shroud of unconsciousness, I saw two huge figures rushing across the courtyard. They looked like angels, but they gradually took on the shape of my grandparents. I jerked awake in my bed, stunned by what had happened. My grandparents were already doing household chores. Everything seemed normal. But when I went to the window, I was amazed to see deep scratches from my fingernails on the windowsill. I looked at my hands in horror. My fingertips were covered in blood. Was it a dream? That day, the answer brought me no peace. I tried to look at my grandmother, but she didn't seem to notice anything. The world around me seemed the same. My grandfather was always doing something in the barn. Felix the cat was lounging in the sun, and the birds were singing their trills. But in the place where the old woman from the nightmare had dragged me, there was trampled grass. There was no doubt about it. It was reality. In the evening, after having dinner with my relatives, I decided to get to the truth by all means. As usual, at 10 p.m., I had to go to bed. Only this time, I wasn't going to fall asleep for real. Instead of falling asleep, I just closed my eyes and started counting the beats of the clock. That way I would know exactly how long I had been awake. Around 4:30 in the morning, I felt a stare on me. The same one that haunted me in my nightmares. I opened my eyes, expecting to see an old woman, but instead, it was my grandparents standing by the bed. Only they weren't the sweet old men I knew. Their eyes burned with devilish fire, and animal horns and tails peeked out from under their clothes.
Are you trying to trick us, Alex?
The grandmother hissed in a nasty, gnashing voice, worse than any I had ever heard.
You can't fool the old devils.
Grandfather thundered, looking at me with obsidian eyes. Both of them broke out into an eerie carcanye that sounded remotely like laughter. I froze with horror, unable to scream or move, and then through the broken window came that old woman, my undead tormentor. She grabbed my grandmother and sank her fangs into her rotting neck. The demon grandfather rushed to her defense, but to no avail. The old woman was faster and stronger. Soon he was in pieces. Having disposed of my nasty guardians, the witch dragged me into the courtyard with unnatural ease. But instead of scaring and torturing me again, she stroked my head affectionately and said in a squeaky but motherly voice,
"Don't be afraid, child. They will not harm you again. I have come to rid you of this nightmare.
And the old woman disappeared without a trace, leaving me wondering whether it was a dream or reality, and who in this story should be considered the real monster.